morning. It is Dr. Ashley Romanchuk in my Focused Breath class, and this is the last class of Series 1 of Pranayama breathwork, Kriya Yoga. This is none of this has ever been naturopathic medicine. That's just my title. No part of this is naturopathic medical advice or treatment. It's a series of pranayama, one of the 8 limbs of yoga, and has introduced both a lot of different types of breathwork, techniques, and yogic philosophy and teachings. As always, open your windows so you're breathing in fresh air while you're doing this class. We're going to tune in just by tuning in. We've been practicing this, so it's a good moment to just always tune in. So for most people, the focused mind comes from the focused breath. So paying attention to your breath is the way to start to train your mind. After a while, if you advance in yoga, you don't even need to do that. Your mind is just focused all of the time. As always, posture is important, so correct your posture, pay attention to your alignment. I've, in my past classes, gone through the alignment, so if you need to go through those, go through them. That's why I'm taking this break in this series, is so that people that are very interested in this can go back, practice, so I don't need to keep repeating. And it's also, yoga, too, is about being your own guru. So you paying attention to you and learning these things yourself. That's how I learned yoga. I did it all by myself, and then I would learn that from a sacred text that this is that, and I was like, oh, yeah. And I come to the same conclusions myself. So then I was like, cool, I got it. I think you really get it that way. Anyways, so tuning into the breath, just noticing the breath. Where is your tongue? Where's your shoulders? Where's your hips? Is your belly in? How's your jaw? Hopefully not clenched. How do you feel today? Perhaps setting an intention for your yogic practice, for your day. Counting your blessings, what you're grateful for. Practicing gratitude. The key, the special key to change your life is to practice gratitude. Can you breathe in both nostrils evenly? If your mind is wandering, always bringing it back to your breath. In the next series, we're going to talk about different breath techniques again. Fun ones, a little bit more advanced, some breath techniques that can move like childhood trauma and anger, move, of course, still heat and cold from the body, which are basic ones. We'll see. I'll go as I teach. I didn't really come up with a plan for this series, and it turned out well. We're also going to talk about actually being in meditation and the work that is the real work, which is in meditation. Going through your baggage, so to say, all the crap that's the mind that is not you. How to move it, how to see it, how to not be a part of it, not be lost in it. Some scars, something that is very important, emotional impressions, basically trauma, how to move them so that you don't constantly get put back into your trauma and have your trauma response, which comes from early childhood life. It can't even come from past lives. Some scars is what it's called. Learning that you are a perfect and whole being. So let's start to inhale for 4, exhale for 4 through our nose. Tongue's always at the roof of your mouth. Behind your 2 front teeth, there's a very special place there. Stay, explore it. Pay attention with your mind. What is that? Secret key to the body and consciousness right there. Breathing in for 4, breathing out for 4. Forehead, nose, chin, back. Do your morning stretches as you will. Always breathing in for 4, breathing out for 4. Days are getting darker. You can tell by how I turn on the same light. I'm getting darker in the background, so I guess I'm going to have to find more light because it's not coming in the windows as much anymore. Breathe in for 4, breathe out for 4. Watch your central channel. That's the next move of Kriya Yoga. Simply attuning to your central channel. You breathe in, you breathe out, and it's so simple. People are used to chaos. They start to feel chaos and simplicity because they're used to chaos. But it's in the simplicity where all the wisdom, power and knowledge and legitimate magic lies. So, breathing in for 4, breathing out for 4. Breathing from your belly, so every time you breathe in, your belly is expanding. Kriya Yoga, basically Pranayama, the yoga of paying attention to your breath, was pioneered by Mahavatar Babaji. He's very old. He's one of the original gurus. Definitely my guru. I love him. Very connected with him. I sometimes look in the mirror and I just see him. So it's very neat. It can show up in different ways. Sometimes he shows up in my reflection. Definitely showed up in my life, in a person. It's a very neat experience. Very, whew, it was a big one. Almost identical to a year. Well, it was a year ago. And he left my life in that way, but he's always with me. There's a special mantra for him, and I thought since I've introduced this class that maybe I should introduce the mantra, because singing a mantra is also one of the highest forms of yoga. I love singing. I sing mantras typically every day. And yeah, his mantra is beautiful. So just paying attention to your breath in for 4, breath out for 4. Well, maybe I'll sing for you. Why not? So this is the mantra to Mahavatar, the great avatar, one of the greatest avatars of yoga. Mahavatar Vidmahi Satguru Devaya Dhimahi Tanno Babaji Prachodaya. So Vidmahi is knowing it. Om to the great knowing, the greatest knowledge. Dhimahi is meditating upon, so I meditate on you, the great Guru. Guru is blackness, Ru is into the light, that which brings us from blackness to light. Prachodayat is to be enlightened. It's also used in the Gayatri mantra, which is one of the other greatest mantras. It's the word that you use as a request from God, in which we ask for guidance and inspiration. Babaji is like, great father, lead me. Lead me to the light. Remove the darkness of Maya, the illusion, which is not true. Darkness is a veil, it's not true. Guide me through the chaos into tranquility and peace. So, I never have a plan for these classes, but I guess with this one, since it's the end of the series, yeah, sing to Babaji. So, the mantra is Om Mahavatar Vidmahi, all-knowing. Satguru Devaya Dhimahi Tanno Babaji Prachodaya. Om Mahavatar Vidmahi Satguru Devaya Dhimahi Tanno Babaji Prachodaya. It can get really loud and really beautiful, and you just have tears coming down your face. And that is where mantra can really cleanse and purify you. It's one of the most incredible. I think mantra is, yes, pranayama can move you through the darkness, but I think mantra is, you just hear notes and your vibration of your inner channel, and you can just bawl. like it's just a river of tears that come out for like the beauty and the, I can't even describe it, you have to experience it, but most people in this society are like, I can't sing, and who cares if you can't sing? That's not what it's about singing, and you actually, everybody can sing, it's learning, right? So, as you're breathing in this breath for 4, breathing out for 4, we might add our restraint of the breath now. So if you've been practicing with me, add the restraint. So breathe in for 4, breathe out for 4. And as you do that, I'll sing a little bit to Babaji. Definitely my Babaji, for sure. Satguru Devaya Demahi Tano Babaji Prachodaya Om Mahavatar 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 Satguru Devaya Demahi Tano Babaji Chodaya. You can really keep going. It really aligns the channels. Oh my God. Oh my God. Mahavatar. So, okay. So breathing in for 4. Pause. Breathe out for 4. Let's go into Nadi Shodhana. So we got our pinky and our ring finger on our left nostril, middle and pointer here, and our thumb on our right nostril. We breathe in for 4, plug our right nostril, unplug our left nostril, breathe out for 4. Breathe in for 4, plug our left nostril, unplug our right nostril, breathe out for 4. Very simple. Count on your own time. If this is the first class you've watched, please go through my series because it's given lots of foundation. And at this point, I'm not giving some of those basic foundations. So it's your own place to go into the past classes to practice if that's what you wish. Okay, so breathe in for 4. Everybody count on your own time. breathe normally now and notice how you might feel. Again, breathing does move the spine. So if you want to do some yeses and nos, and at any point do those yeses and nos to move your spine, go for it. Breathing will move them. When I started singing mantras, all I want to do is sing mantras. So now I just want to sing and I want to get so into it. So you can really get into these mantras and hit these huge pitches. It's like you're wailing through your voice, and it is so. I feel like I moved through the sadness of the world through singing mantras. I don't know how to better say that. We each feel it. We all carry. So you learn to remove it. We carry a lot of pain from our ancestors. Most people on earth come from, we have the trauma of the wars that's not far behind us, and it's palpable in most people's energies. And to move it takes awareness, and most people don't have even any teachings to move it. So in my opinion, yeah, yoga helps, breathing helps, but mantras the most. So we'll see, maybe my series 3 will be on mantras. Oh, they're so beautiful. Really cleanse your energy, bring a state of light and peace and bliss, literal bliss. Move through the sadness and the Mahavatar Babaji, which is so cool. Literally. So you've got these literal, they're called chordae tendonae, I think, in your heart. There's 3 little chords in your tricuspid, and they help move your valves of your heart. And this mantra, you actually feel them in your heart. You feel the mantra, you feel the song in your heart. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And then you start understanding this wisdom, and everything's within. I'm convinced that the sacred crosses, like Jesus on a cross, it's within. You've got a crucifix ligament at the very top of your spine, and when it aligns, your upper spheres align. You got a crucifix ligament with your right behind your diaphragm, and when you're breathing in your spine, it all aligns. So all these things that are taught that are outside, and oh, Jesus was on a cross, and probably was actually literally put on a cross, but these sacred crosses are within you, and these aspects of the body that open you up into all of a sudden your realms that you understand of the spirit realm. It's all from going within, so that's yoga. Let's go into our Kapalabhati breath, and this warms the body and also aligns the spiritual energy. So our second chakra, drum muscle, very, very, very important muscle of the body as well. Up through our nose. Smile. With your third eye. Lion's breath. Yoga Sutra 13, the first instructions is to practice. You act in life every single moment as if you're being watched by God. You become eternally watchful of yourself. Scrutinize every thought, word, action, every gesture you do, every way you can be perceived by another, because you want to be perceived truthfully. Scrutinize every feeling you have, every way of being. And this is a fine line, so you can do this for years, and then you have to let it go. But that's very advanced. In the start, you act as if you're being watched by God. Okay? And have varagya, dispassion, desirelessness. No, oh, I'm doing this for, it's like you're just present because you're totally present. It's a very pure place, supreme non-attachment. The highest form of vairagya is described in Sutra 16. It's due to the realization of how pure your true self is, which Purusha, there is not a desire for anything. And that also comes from true presence. But being and really taking into yourself, your truth, that you're being watched by God, and then and that's kind of funny. I was really good, so I did that for years, and I was very pure. And then you have to kind of let it go, because it can become almost like you're too structured, and that's not your truth, because truth is very flowing. You're very yourself. So then I had to be like, okay, I need to let this all go. This perfection, I like yoga, this very Virgo qualities, because it's too constrictive of me. I need to let it flow, come back into maybe perhaps making mistakes if they're there within me, and then I'll move back into this. So it's this given thing. But then you still, after years of like, as if you're being watched by God, you still know and you actually start to see, like, I can close my eyes, I see Buddha, I see Jesus Christ, I see Ramakrishna, I see Mahavatar, Babaji, like, and God, like, you really comprehend those things. And and some of the greatest gurus, like, I'll go into the mantras and I'll change the gurus, and I've talked to acharyas, and I'm like, I'm either so in trouble with the various forms of God, but there is only one God, or he just loves me so much. He just sees me as this child at play. I always do it from a pureness, though. So I know I'm not in trouble with God. I'm actually so protected by him. It's amazing. I've had such a cool, I use this word, which is fun. Very, 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 and everybody should. Like, your path, you should look at your life and be like, I love my life. Life is spiritual. You can't disconnect from the spiritual, for sure not. In my later classes, I guess in my later series, I'll really start to teach more. I've really dropped some big things to start practicing for those of you that come into this series and want to really start practicing yoga. So go through it and then take it into your real life. Gotta do it. It's yoga. You can't know it, you gotta practice it. And those that teach it, I definitely teach what I know. do this again. Out of our second drum muscle here, second chakra drum, out of our nose. Always start on an empty channel with this one. You breathe in, you breathe out, you start. When you're ready, we might do the whole class this way. Kalabati breath. Maybe y'all. I don't normally speak like that. Sometimes I speak and something else is like y'all. Right. No thanks. Maybe you will all start to see very bright light in your third eye from doing this Kalabati breath. So breathe in for 4. Nope, that's not what I meant to say. The trickster's coming out of me. This has happened sometimes. Trickster energy. Breathe in, let it out. So. I'm dry. So good. I feel like doing this very breath that we've been doing through our mouth. So breathing in and letting it out. Very oxygenating breath. Smile. Breathe in love. Breathe out love. When you breathe in, go, I love you. Breathe out. I love you. This is devotion. Okay. Already a very highest form of yoga if you can be doing these things. I love you. Pureness, happiness. Say it to yourself every breath. I love you. I love you. Thankful for you. Say it to your other. Your divine other. We all have a divine other. I love you. Say it to God. Say it to anybody. The rest of the world. Say it to everything you experience. I love you. You become a walking embodiment of love, okay? You can walk through the forest, plants grab at me. I love you. Hi. Touch the plant. You can get, yoga becomes such a spiritual journey. Definitely for a warrior, you gotta trust yourself, trust God. The gurus will say you walk, end up walking a path of razor's edge, where you have to trust yourself. Trust what you see in the spiritual realm, what you sense. Trust your spiritual journey. And it's so true, but it becomes so special, and you're like, oh my God, the people I get to meet along the way, the energies I get to, and life becomes such a, I love it. I definitely do. Breathe in through the nose, breathe out. Every breath is a prayer. That's a great truth. Every moment is a fresh moment. Start again. Breathe in your prayers. Breathe them out too. Smile. Smile every time. Not just a smile from here, it's a smile from your entire being. Your third eye smiles, your heart smiles. It's a smile. This breath is so weird. Let's go into our Ujjayi breath. Let's move all this movement breath that we've done around. So, to the seashore. Okay. So, why you need to actually get into samadhi, states of the meditation, so actually spending time in meditation, is because you essentially want to purify the mind, get rid of the mind, which only occurs through these states of samadhi. And then you become a jivan mukta, a liberated soul. So as I'm speaking, you are all still breathing your breath of the seashore, your Ujjayi breath. liberation. There's different levels of samadhi, which happens in meditation. The level of samadhi, where you become a liberated soul, you literally like purify, you burn away the mind and happens in what is called a samprajnata samadhi. So these Jivan Muktas, they still look like normal people, but they are not, they're not stuck. They're not. And the only way is through meditation and samadhi. Maybe not the only way. Maybe the religious teachings can take you. I don't know. I don't practice religion. I practice yoga. I am baptized though. I'm baptized Orthodox Christian. I still believe that Jesus Christ was an advanced yogi and taught good things. So I'm not against religions. I think there's purity in all the religions. I think that unfortunately a lot of people don't understand and don't get them, and then there's been a darkness that has happened in the religions. Somehow a lot of harm in something that's so pure, and that is a very unfortunate thing. So I said that there's samskaras. These are basically trauma scars of our emotional, mental nature. Often they happen in early childhood life. Anybody that's watching this, you might want to listen to the audiobook or read the book, The Untethered Soul, to really kind of gain a sense of what I'm saying. And then yoga actually teaches how to get through these things. The Untethered Soul's a good book. He's essentially teaching yoga. He's very mental, obviously, the guy that wrote it, very in his mind, but he explains it well. And I mean, I could explain it all, but he does because I understand it. I've been through it. I've done that work. But it's there for you instead of me having to, it's a good book to go and read. So only when you get into meditation can you get into these states of samadhi, and then when real work of self and spiritual work happens, according to yoga. So in the state of samprajnata, I think is how you say it, the Sanskrit. I'm not totally great at that part. Samprajnata samadhi. I have not spoken or taught one single thing that I haven't practiced and understood and completed within myself. In this, I wouldn't. Okay, so when I'm saying it, even though I don't understand, I can't maybe say the Sanskrit words properly, that doesn't denote that I don't know it. I do. So only in this level of samadhi, which happens through deep meditation, you have to have your nervous system very still. You have to not be afraid. It's almost like in these levels of samadhi, like you die, basically. That's how I could say it. And the Upanishad starts by the father telling the son to try to go into death, but don't stay there. And then we have the story of Jesus Christ, and he dies for 3 days and come back, and I'm like, I think this is all yoga. I think Jesus must have gone to India and studied yoga. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I would love to hear. I'm sure the truth will come out. I've somehow, just from being my own energy, attracted some very, 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 very big people to me, and that's what's really cool too. So as you align, you all of a sudden are surrounded by some very aligned people too. So, having these conversations with some people that come from the area of the world, and probably know the truth of that. I believe that will happen eventually. I got close to having that conversation and it was like, not yet. Okay, I guess I'll still find I am always on my own path, always. So in this, so again, as I'm speaking, you're all still doing your Ujjayi breath. I'm training you, I'm teaching you yoga. Everything I do, every moment of all of this has been me teaching yoga. So Ujjayi breath. So this is Sutra 18 of, still the first part of the book of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. So in Samadhi is where the work happens, which is in meditation. That's why it's important for you to sit. Do nothing. Mind off. Pay attention to your breath. Don't let your mind wander. Then you really get deep. In this Samadhi, your mind is completely off. So I have this innately, actually. As a child, I would look over, I grew up on a big park, lots of land, and I would look out my window and I would go into full Samadhi state. 5 hours would pass by. There's nothing. So there's another thing too, is there's this yogic gaze that allows you to get deep into Samadhi. So apparently some children are born with it. I was born with it. So you're in a yogic gaze, and to be able to keep your eyes open and look at something. Good. Okay. I'm doing it right now for you. And you just, okay. That's how you get into deep Samadhi too. So for some people, it can take almost lifetimes for their mind to be completely off. Or you can focus in this lifetime and really focus. And focusing on your breath is a good way to train your mind to be off. And then what you can do, so this is where you can read The Untethered Soul or listen to the audiobook, and he'll explain that you can watch your mind from above. So you can simply just, in a state of, which is, I'd say, like the lower forms of meditation, you just listen to your mind chatter and you're above it. And you're like, and you see it and you just observe. And that's the first step of being away from your mind. But then you learn to be like, zip it up. Like it starts to go on and you're like, I'm so sick of you. Zip. And it just, and you learn to control it. And your mind just becomes off. You become present. And it's very neat because then you're very connected to, what's happening in the world. Like, for me particularly, I didn't know what was going to come, but I knew something was coming. And then all of a sudden this virus happened and it's like, whew. I could feel it. Like I could feel it for 10 years. Something's coming. And this virus that's just what we see on the physical realm. Like it's a big spiritual time right now. And I think it's so cool. I think it's so amazing. I use this word cool and it doesn't actually describe what I'm saying. In English, I think English is a stupid language. We don't have very many proper words to use. I think it's a very spiritual time. And I think we're going to see some big change. And it's already happening. So only in this level of Samadhi, again, everybody's still doing their Ujjayi breath. This is Yoga Sutra number 18, Samprajnata Samadhi, when your mind is completely off. There is complete cessation of mental modifications one can finally analyze the samskaras, okay? So also we've heard of ayahuasca, so people go and drink ayahuasca. What ayahuasca essentially does, although I have not drank it, which I've understood what it does, is it brings you into your samskaras. Your samskaras are like neuro-linguistic pathways that we form early in life. Something happens and it creates an electrical, like almost, if I could put it in that way, like almost like an electrical pathway impulse through our nervous system. It's all about the nervous system, by the way. Energy, it's like electrical energy, right? And it harmed us, it caused us to come away from our pureness, our innocence, close our heart a little bit. This is what also it's talked about in the Untethered Soul. And then certain things can bring us back to it, or we can even just be sitting and all of a sudden something from the past comes in and we feel it. Those are some scars and we have to move through them. You have to consciously move through them. And yoga teaches that. I'm not sure what else does teach that. So only when the mind is off can we lift these past experiences, these basically mental emotional scars from our being, mental emotional nervous system scars, and go, no, we're not going to travel that path again. And at this level of samadhi, ego is no longer present. And only consciousness exists here, pure consciousness. So the individual is completely liberated. And they continue to be a part of the world. They're not really involved in it, they're around it. People can kind of try to ping pong off of it. Like I find I've always had a path where people throw their darkness at me and I call it being painted black. Oh, it's you, it's you. You're not a part of it. Can still be, we're still people though, right? It can still feel painful. You can still like almost, but then you're like, no. So the world is just a shadow from which one is completely free of. The Jivan Mukta understands themselves, the liberated soul understands themselves as Purusha, the pure self, pure consciousness, which used to be entangled with Prakriti, like the chaos, the darkness. The veil, that which is not true, and it's finally free of it. Yoga Sutra 19. Everybody's still breathing there. Ujjayi breath. Breath of the seashore. The memories of what you have attained spiritually in a past life are continued and carried with you into rebirth. So I came here with these memories, okay? I've always been this way. Took me 35 years to gain the language to teach what I know. Only at the human level, so only in this human life can you attain soul liberation. So basically, We become fully aware by knowing ourselves completely. And it's only in this waking life that you can do this. So you might as well do it in this life. There's no reason why literally the entire world doesn't go into yoga and practice yoga. And I almost feel like that's what we're about to have. I think that's actually what we're about to have. Because I know it's a spiritual time on earth right now, very spiritual. And I think what we're actually going to see is this, where people are starting, I don't know, I think yoga's the way, personally. Everybody paying attention to their self. Coming into their proper boundaries. Healing themselves, and in doing so, the world is healed. You are not apart from the outside. Everything you experience is actually you. You're the center of the reality. And every person understanding that and being that is how this world will change. Yoga Sutras 20, Asamprajnata Samadhi, one that gets liberated, can also come via faith. Okay, so that's where the religions teach faith. 2 is vigor. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Vigor, I suppose. I don't know, I'd have to ask Acharya on that one. 3 is memory, past lives. 4, contemplation, so becoming your own philosopher, really like paying attention, learning yourself. 5 is discernment between Purusha, the real, true, pure self, and the unreal, dark kind of illusion, which is also self, but you go, no, that's not me. Yoga Sutra 21 says you're to the keen and intent practitioner, one that is there, totally. This samadhi comes quickly, and it isn't that difficult. The time necessary for success depends on the intensity of practice. Another way to success is through the complete dedicated devotion to Ishvara, which is the Supreme Godhead. Self-surrender to God. I feel like perhaps that's the way I've always been. Like, yeah, I really, really trust God, for sure I do. And never feel disconnected. Feel very connected to God, Ishvara, all the time. Allah, whatever word you want to use. To me, Jesus Christ was a guru. And it even says in the Bible, he's the messenger of God, okay? People thinking that Jesus Christ was God, like, you're missing the point. Sorry to say. He's a divine incarnation of God on earth, for sure he was. He's still around. Like, I mean, you can close your eyes and see him if you're very connected with him. I see him all the time. I see a lot of these, very spiritual energies. Ishvara is the supreme Purusha, the supreme pure, unaffected by any afflictions, any actions, fruits of actions, or any inner impressions and desires. Just pure, 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 pure. You cannot taint what is pure. Ishvara is the guru of gurus. Anyways, this was a different class. It's my last class of this series. Please review, go through, and I will begin my next series when I begin it. Tentatively November 1st, but I do not know. Life, I just follow. And I do everything in, I think, divine timing anyway. So it will come when it comes. I'll let you know. Until then, I have given a lot of knowledge and a lot to practice. Anybody that wants to get into yoga, this is a good series to do it, but you gotta practice. I'm gonna Om as I always do. You are so welcome to join me. Obviously, we're at a time where people get to do all these things from home with this virus. I don't know, maybe there are some yoga classes going on where people are really suffered and have their masks on, but Oming is another very, very, very important mantra. You could literally just sit in your asana. So proper asana is just sitting, proper posture. Om. Do my first yogic Kriya breath, paying attention to your central channel, breathing in for 4, breathing out for 4, perhaps restraining the breath at the, and then go into meditation from there. Like, yoga is not complicated. North America is making it complicated. They're not even teaching yoga. They're teaching poses and stretching, and it becomes a fitness thing, and it's not about that. It's about spiritual fitness, not physical fitness. It is in a way. I mean, you have to have muscle and some stretching ability to be able to sit into meditation, but it's about actually doing this spiritual work. So you could literally just sit into your asana. Asana means to take a seat. Om. You could Om for a long time. Like, I've Ommed I went to a sea of Om where I Ommed the entire day, and it was incredible. Yeah, do your breath, get your mind still, and just go into samadhi. Meditation, it's not that difficult. It takes intention. Om is A-U-M. There's different ways to Om. Sometimes you get a big will from the inside and play with it. See you next series. Thank you. Namaste. That's what we said.